Огонь по готовности! Огонь по готовности!
Into the iris.
Огонь по готовности!
Into the iris. Into the iris. Pass into the iris.
Огонь по готовности!
Nerf this!
Good evening and welcome to another edition of the Watchpoint Post-Show, live from the Blizzard Arena in Los Angeles. I'm your humble and gracious host, Malik Forte, joined as always by Zoe, Brent, and Josh, aka Sideshow. Guys, oh man, that match right there sparked a lot of joy in my heart.
Yeah,
I must say.
that sparks
My heart's
joy.
still racing.
No, that did not
Oh, yeah.
spark joy. Actually,
Well,
you're the opposite.
I know
As a
at some
Valiant
point,
fan, yeah.
at some point we are going to be revisiting the bracket, and I do have to say I've got every single one right so far.
All right,
So-
okay, yeah.
All right. Well, we're not. You know what? Let's not start this now, okay? Because I know you're gonna get plenty of
Plenty of
time,
time.
Brent.
Plenty of time to
You're gonna
gloat.
get plenty of time
Plenty
to
of
gloat.
time.
But our first match of the day was the Seoul Dynasty going up against the San Francisco Shock, our Stage 2 champions, defending their title for the first time today against the Dynasty. And I have to say, I was really surprised by how close this was. The Dynasty played it pretty well.
The opening, we saw a new look out of the Seoul Dynasty. This weird, odd composition. It's pretty new, honestly. And Seoul, I think they turned up. They surprised San Francisco Shock.
Yep.
And beyond that, it's not surprising they managed to take Oasis, given how bad this map is individually, I think, for the San Francisco Shock. And I can understand partly why they would pick it into them. But then we got Numbani wasn't close at all, actually.
No,
It
that was
very-
a
very
Rascal
close.
show at the beginning there.
Yeah.
Rascal had a phenomenal game on his Baptiste, instantly made his presence felt there. And it's just so great to finally seeing more of Baptiste being used in such a big way.
Yeah, nobody else in the league is able to do what he does, or at least nobody's even really attempted it. So presumably it's not working for
Rascal
those other
is the
teams. on script.
Baptiste.
Yeah, so Rascal is the Batiste in the league. I mean, he is easily the best, and not just because he's the only one that plays it, but he has such an outrageous impact in all of the games that he plays. But I will say, it looked like Seoul Dynasty were going to come back on Volskaya and make a bit of a series of it, but they threw it away.
What a throw. We're probably going to see it at some point. It was Ryu J. Hunger through this map. You'll see an individual kill, hopefully at the end of it, but he just waddles into the rest of the team and ends up getting picked up when he had the nano boost and
Yeah, it was this round in overtime. He
very,
was playing
very
against Violet.
confusing.
Or maybe Violet is just that good.
Yeah, that's why they never run him on Ana.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
too good.
just
It
too
would
good.
be unfair.
Yeah, that's like the same reason why Shock doesn't usually run Sombra, right? It's just
Yeah.
unfair. to
Same
give
reason I
such
don't
a-
play
such a
Genji in
great
ranked as
hero.
well.
Yeah, it's just unfair.
It's just unfair on my opponent. San Francisco Shock are looking fierce, but my worry with this team is always, can they keep the consistency? And that was never an issue in Stage 2, and maybe it won't be an issue now in the playoffs, now that they're hyper-motivated again. But playing against Sombras, it's so difficult
game.
to keep that kind of consistency up.
Yeah. And we know as well, they get into their own heads as well when they're playing against Sombra players, which is why they're going to be playing against the Valiant. And the Valiant, I mean, Shax has been looking like a little freak of nature, hasn't he? Little
Yeah.
beastie boy, huh?
Yeah, save it, save it. I know you're excited about Shax. I know you want to talk about it, but save it for a second because I want to touch on something that I think was a big standout for the San Francisco Shock in this match, and that was their support line. A lot of talk about Troy Oben and Super and Sinatra, but their support line really showed up in this game.
Yeah, I said at the beginning of the match that Moth and Rascal had to be the players to shut down the Sombra on the other side. And we were unsure how much Sombra would be played, but this in general carries through even to their semi-finals game against the Valiant. Moth and Rascal have to have great games to shut down the Sombra, and Fitz got nothing done all day.
I wish there was a stat on here that showed Sombra's decloaked, because it would be perfect.
Sure. Or just Sombra's pushed out as well.
Yeah.
Because it's not so much that Moth finds the Sombra, but Moth is the guy that once they know where he is, goes and deals with him and pushes him out of position, stops Fitz building up those EMPs. And Moth and Rascal had a hell of a game today, but they need to do it every single match in the playoffs, otherwise they will lose.
Well, how important do you guys think that was, Fitz being shut down? Was that ultimately the deciding factor in this matchup?
I mean, it was that and just also like kind of shutting down the support lineup there. Ryujong didn't get too much done with the Ana, and they do need those big sleep darts. They do need those Bionades to come in clutch for the team to actually be able to move in. So if they have Fitz shut down, who can't get their hacks off, and if they can't like actually get an advantage by hitting a good sleep dart or getting that Bionade, then they have no real reason to actually go in and take a team fight. So yeah, those two were really the keys there.
That was just unfortunate. I mean, Super was trying to clear the minds of his Earth Shatter to get out of spawn, and he catches Fitz just trying to walk around.
That's actually outrageous. Yeah.
They shut him down when they weren't even trying.
Yeah, I know. But it really was like a hell of a game from the San Francisco Shock. But like I said, that actually has to happen every single match. One single bad game from Rascal or Moth, and they're probably going out of the stage playoffs. It's so high pressure for these guys.
Yeah, and they're up against a far more threatening Sombra, I would say, in this next matchup, which we're getting ready to talk about a little bit. But guys, coming up, we'll show you how the last semifinal spot in the Stage 3 playoffs was secured. Don't go anywhere. More Watchpoint is coming up.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Our last matchup of the evening was by far the most entertaining matchup we've had here in the quarterfinals. The LA Valiant and the Hangzhou Spark both doing battle. And man, let me tell you, this one going 5 maps, I wish it went longer. It was so good.
Oh, yeah. Potential here for, I think, match of the month almost as well. We'll see how the rest of the playoffs shakes out, but this was...
Don't call it yet, Brad.
Yeah, I'm not going to call it just yet, but this is definitely a match worthy of being, I think, the grand finals in some regard. I feel like it's almost a shame that we didn't go to sort of the first of 4 just to see potentially that best of 7, because it definitely could have gone that way.
Yeah, it's always so close when these two teams play. The Hollywood map pick, I think, was brilliant from the Spark. I had some question marks later on with the way that the Valiant picked with Paris, but they managed to redeem themselves later on, and it was so map dependent. With these two teams, they have such different styles, and the Valiant brought a lot of new stuff to the table as well, playing a lot of solo Orisa compositions.
I don't necessarily think that those kind of new looks from the Valiant was, in the end, the factor which took the Spark down. I think it was just very, very good and important individual performances, very, very important picks from either side, which really determined how each map went. Ooh.
Now that is great. A lovely little bait onto Godsby opens up point A for them. But the Paris, I mean, we were having this debate on Twitter and between a couple of the casters as well, because we thought they'd go to Volskaya. because the last time Valiant played against Spark, they crushed them on Volskaya. Playing a lot of double sniper with the bunker compositions, but for whatever reason, they wanted to play Paris, I think because they wanted to run this comp on defense. But eventually, with 50 seconds left, it fell through, and then it was all Spark.
But it could have gone either way, though, honestly, because frankly, at the very last attack from Spark, they were incredibly timid.
Yeah.
They got a great pick really early on Costa. They didn't follow in. Then they got a pick on Fact Fiction, didn't follow in, and then they just somehow managed to still win the map. So honestly, this could have been Valiant.
There was a couple of moments there I felt like the Hangzhou Spark were a little reluctant during team fight.
Yeah.
Maybe Shax was in their head a bit.
Yes, yeah, I think so. But the great thing about the playoff system where the loser picks the map is that even though they fluffed up Paris, they got an opportunity pick, and Havana is by far and away the best map for the LA Valiant when it comes to those payload maps, the escort maps, and they came out with it. But then it all comes down to map 5, as we thought it would, and Spark have never lost a map 5 before.
Yeah, I was thinking this is going to be where Valiant take it. I mean, spoilers, they did end up taking it, but what was surprising to me was the fashion in which they took it, because they win this round here, but when it goes to University, when they go head-to-head in a GOATS matchup, the triple tank, triple support, with Shax playing the Diva.
That shouldn't happen.
That shouldn't happen. This should have been a Hangzhou Spark stage to win on that point on the University section.
Yeah.
They didn't. Shax clutches up.
And toward the end of that map, it looked like it was going to go the Hangzhou Sparks way. Godsby had his grab, he was ready to go, and your man Shax just shows up.
Shut some.
Nom nom.
Nom, nom,
Nom
nom.
nom.
The man was hungry, very hungry. You know what? I do want to point out that for me, somebody who's been watching Gushue all season long, this was a really good match for him. I feel like for those who didn't really recognize his star power, this is a good match to showcase how good he really is.
I also would like to ask as well, if you haven't recognized Gushue's star power, where have you been?
Where have you been,
Were
really?
you watching the World Cup last year when he was dominating?
Yeah,
He was
exactly.
carrying China to their victories. I mean, the guy's been phenomenal for a while. But I want to talk about a singular individual who I've just been mentioning and name dropping every now and then.
Go ahead.
Goes by the name of Shax, right? This guy, he's come in for the Valiant. We need to really big up this guy's story because he's come in so late into the Valiant as an individual team. And I know KSF, he got player of the match, but if it was me, I think I would have given it to Shax as an individual because he's come
Just
in.
put out one graph.
Not because of the gravity. The gravity was pretty good. As Diva, honestly, flexing onto it. We weren't expecting much. Clutched out the entire series, which is funny enough. I mean, you can see the stats here. Look at it. A bit of a meme from me. Ultimate's negated 1. It's the only one that mattered. He got the gravity.
I wish you could tell us straight in.
Right?
Just
I really wish I
circle
could. But it was so last minute from him. But we weren't expecting him to win this. We weren't really expecting much from Shax's Diva. He managed to clutch it out under a high-pressure scenario like that. But he's a phenomenal talent, and now he's really being showcased. But what's most impressive to me is, as well as that, he can play playing the Sombra to such a high level, and word on the street is this is something that he's like had to learn very recently in a short amount of time. So the fact that he's so proficient on this role in such a short amount of time, and he's now in a playoff scenario, and he's pretty much the entirety of Valiant being worked around him, so impressive. Honestly, so impressive.
Do you think it's a testament to just how good his team plays around him, or is it just a solid individual performance?
A testament to him, the team as a whole as well, how they can bounce back, have the mental fortitude to bounce back after a 0-7 stage. Like, not many teams are capable of doing that. And also the coaching staff as well, because they've recently picked up new coaching staff and they've been doing a phenomenal job as well.
Right. Well, hey, man, it's amazing just seeing how the Valiant have turned things around with these players and with players like Shax. But, guys, let's check out where our analyst brackets stand as we head into the semifinals.
Oh, there we go.
It's
we're going to start.
time.
Can we skip this one?
I feel you. I know, so you're not feeling too good about this.
Yeah. No.
Saying, oh,
Like
boy.
the Titans, though, they're still looking good.
So,
Thanks.
so you still got the Titans in there. You still got the Titans in there.
Yeah,
Not completely.
but
And the Shock. The Shock are
wait
still
to
in
be
there. So you got 2 of the semifinals teams in there. So your bracket's not all that terrible, you know?
I went with the logical one. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
think
take
the
any
Hangzhou
risk.
Spark as well probably could have taken this one. Like, if you run it 100 times, I think this is a very even 50-50 split.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a close game.
The high seeds have failed you, so well, let's take a look at Brand's. I'm not going to even say anything. Go ahead, Brand.
Show me
Go ahead.
the green check marks if we can. I'd love to see these.
There's no green check
correct-
mark.
There's
Sorry,
no
Brand.
Correct picks be
There's-
popping up
there's no
right now.
green.
But again, predicted Dragons, everyone laughed at me. Predicted Valiant,
No one
maybe.
laughed.
No
Literally,
one
no one
laughed.
laughed. Or everyone on the desk said that either match can go either way.
Huh?
Yeah.
Guess what? I've got everyone.
All right.
Yeah,
Where
right.
you guys sit right now.
After seeing the Valiant and the Titans play, though, do you still think the Valiant would win that if they both end up winning the semis?
Titans, I'm unsure of. I still don't think the Titans have been tested.
Okay.
So I honestly up in the air regarding that one. I feel like honestly I could be out of all the ones that I could be wrong with. It would be the Vancouver Titans Dragons one.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to Josh's bracket. Now, even though the NYXL lost yesterday, your bracket is still salvageable because you do have the LA Valiant going to the end.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the semifinals are now wrongly seeded, right? Because
Yeah,
because it
just a little
wasn't NYXL that went through. But I think it's still highly possible that we do get that finals matchup. It's going to be such a tough game between the Shock and the Valiant. It's going to be so good. Honestly, both of these semis are going to be fantastic.
Very much so, very much so. I am actually, we talked about it quite a bit. You know, at the top of the playoffs, the Stage 3 playoffs, it was going to be very entertaining. And here, taking a look at the bracket tomorrow, Titans versus Dragons. Is that how we're kicking off the day?
It's
Oh
going to
my
be honestly
goodness.
crazy.
Oh
I got
my
so many
goodness.
questions, honestly, with that singular match. I don't know which way it's going to go. Titans obviously have an edge in it, but again, who knows if Titans are going to be able to keep up their performance? Are they still going to be on fire when they're up against the Dragons? I mean,
Yeah. There's no telling. There's no telling.
no telling.
And then we get a nice little sneak peek of the Cali Cup that we're going to get next stage tomorrow in the stage playoffs. So it's going to be awesome. But guys, we're going to take a quick break. But when we get back, Fact Fiction from the Los Angeles Valiant stops by the desk. Don't go anywhere. More Watch Points coming up.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back to the Watchpoint Post Show. And you know how we do it on here, guys. Nothing but illustrious guests. And today, we got Fact Fiction from the LA Valiant joining us. Man, how are you doing? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling really good right now, honestly. I'm doing super well. I'm really proud of the team, really proud of the boys.
Yeah, man, congratulations. I know it's got to feel good to be able to come back here, make a statement here in the Stage 3 playoffs. But first question I want to ask you is, you guys had a week off, you know, to kind of collect yourselves before the Stage 3 playoffs. How beneficial was it having that time off to prepare?
I mean, we had like a whole extra week to scrim. We didn't take a lot of time off, but we took a few days to reset, and then we just resumed scrimming. We scrimmed all through the end of Stage 3, and then we scrimmed and just prepped a bunch of different strats, prepping for Spark, and it worked out really, really well.
It looks like it did. You know, it's crazy because I feel like you guys came in with all these crazy Sombra strategies and this composition, and since you guys have done it, a lot of other people in the league have done it too. Do you feel like you guys kind of started this trend?
I wouldn't say we started the trend so much as Houston started the trend when they beat Shock, but I feel like a lot of teams really saw after we beat Vancouver, they're like, oh, this is the real deal. Everyone can do this.
Interesting.
So I want to talk about you as an individual, right? Because you've got a very interesting history, actually, throughout the Overwatch League. So, I mean, every player comes into Overwatch playing it professionally with the end goal of making it into the Overwatch League. And you did that in 2018. But you got moved back down into contenders. It didn't work out for you on the Houston Outlaws. What was that process like for you when you got moved down, I guess, back into contenders? And what was your motivation and mental state like at that time?
To be honest, it was pretty hard, like starting in contenders again. But I knew that I wanted to get back into Overwatch League. I knew that I had a lot to prove still, and I didn't get a chance to do much of that on Houston. And I knew that I was like a really, really good player. So I knew that I needed to step up and learn how to be a strong leader and how to create a nice team culture. And that helped me coming into Overwatch League again.
Yeah, I mean, it's night and day as well. The impact you've had as well coming into the team. It's been great to see, honestly, as well, because it's always had this hidden potential that Valiant have had, and it feels like you've unlocked it as well coming in.
Yeah, I actually want to talk about that since you just mentioned team culture. When you joined the Valiant, they were in that was quite a slump, to say the least. Since you guys turned it around, and when you guys started to actually really win those big games, how has the culture in the team changed?
Team culture is like really, really easy to keep up while we're winning, but like Packing and the rest of the coaching staff has always instilled this that we need to trust the process. And like coming into the team, like it was like a complete mental reset for everyone on the team when me and Shax and McGravy joined. And it's really, really clear to me that we could recreate the culture by trusting each other, and Packing did a fantastic job of doing that for us.
I love that. I love it.
The changes that you've made throughout Stage 3 as well also involved Space, who's previously been one of the stars of the team. I mean, he was one of the MVPs of the inaugural season for the LA Valiant and stuff. And so him coming out of the lineup, I think, was a surprise to everybody before they knew how successful your team would be. And we recently saw in an interview that it was kind of his decision. There was an interview with Packing 10 recently where he was talking about the fact that Space had dropped himself down to the bench as well. So we can take a look at what those were. So he said, when selfless things like that start happening, that's when you know you start getting the culture in place that it's supposed to be in. That's when you really start seeing the big results and the turnarounds. And that was on Space's request for Shax to start over him via an interview on Upcomer. What was that like to have a star player request to step down like that? It seems like a drastic move, but is that kind of part of the reason that Valiant are so good, is because people are able to do that kind of thing?
Oh, of course. The fact that we have this team culture where everyone's willing to take a step back for the good of the team makes it super, super easy to win these big games. Like, we had this big meeting right before we played Shanghai the second time, and when we were prepping for Vancouver, and we were like, I don't think we can beat them on 3-3, so let's try something else. And Indy was the first person to volunteer and said, let's put Shax in.
With Space as well, and McGravy that you recently added to the team, what have they been able to offer even though they haven't been playing? Are they still actively involved in stuff behind the scenes?
Oh, of course. McGravy and Space spectate all our scrims. They hype us up backstage. They constantly provide feedback for us. It's like they do a little bit of a coaching role in that regard.
Just one last thing as well. We saw Shax actually play Diva today as well. And you just said that you had this big meeting and you were like, we can't beat these teams playing 3-3. And you've just beaten Spark playing 3-3 with Shax on Diva. I mean, what was that?
Well, we decided in this week that sometimes you're going to have to play Diva. There are some comps that you have to play Diva into. And so we split time with pretty much all three of our DPS players, all played Diva at one point during this week. And we knew that when push come to shove, we could clutch it out.
Yeah, you guys came up big on that decision, too, because, man, eating that grab at the end, Shax killed it. That was so clutch. Well, Fact Fiction, since you're one of the newer guys to the Valiant, we figured we'd test your knowledge of your new teammates, and with a little game that we like to call Fact or Fiction. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, first question. Custa is the oldest player on the Valiant. Fact or Fiction?
Fiction.
All right. Second question.
It is fiction.
It is fiction because I'm the oldest player on Valiant.
You're the oldest. Okay, cool.
Wait, are you? You're also 25, right?
No, I'm 26.
What?
Oh, you bamboozled us. We thought it was a fact.
The producers thought it was a fact.
Well,
yeah, they didn't even take you into account.
We're actually losing this game already.
Yeah.
Anyway, second one. Fact or fiction? Space was a child model.
Fiction.
Nope, that's a fact.
Oh, really?
He actually modeled for targeted
It's
cap as a child.
having a few words with you after that one. It's like, what, you saying?
My bad.
Saying I couldn't be a child model? All right, fact or fiction? Agilities was a gymnastics prodigy in high school, hence where he got the nickname Agilities.
Fiction.
Okay. A little bit too far.
Totally fiction.
Too much.
He did no gymnastics.
The Valiant's best map type this season has been Escort. Fact or fiction?
Fact.
Yep, you're right. Your win rate is 71.4%. The second highest is 42.9 on hybrid. So definitely right.
That sounds about right.
Very good. All right. We're going to switch things up a little bit here and go to more, I guess, hot take-centric fact or fiction. So my question to you is, Sombra Goats is better than 3-3 Goats. Fact or fiction?
Fact.
I mean, there's no right or wrong answer, but
You know,
okay.
there's no,
Is there a bit of reasoning behind it?
Because once you get the ult cycle going, EMP is just stronger than Diva Bomb.
All right.
Pretty solid.
All right, next one. Are the Spark the toughest opponent you will face in these playoffs? Fact or fiction?
Oh, this is hard.
Ooh.
Let's go with fiction. I think Shock and Titans are both extremely strong teams.
All right. All right.
respectful.
Taking the sportsmanship round. I like it. I like
Appreciate that.
class.
You are trained. I think
You are class, my
you
guy.
are trained. All right, fact or fiction? The NYXL were never actually an elite team in 2019.
Oh, Brent, you had to bring it back.
Of course.
Fiction.
Okay, all right, we can hash this out a little bit later. Don't worry.
Fact brutalizer. All right, here we go. Fact or fiction? Watchpoint, right here, invented You Hate to See It. It was us. We patented it years ago. Fact or fiction?
I have to say fiction because if I don't, Custa will literally kill me.
That's unlucky. I thought I'd hit a winner there.
I mean, the reason it kind of gives us a little bit of something to go with, you know, because Costa was going to kill him, you know?
And you would hate to see that.
You would hate to see it.
Hey, Zoe, she's on the ball. She's on the ball. All right, well, guys, you know what I think we should do? I think we should take a look at some of the over-the-top moments of the day. And since we got you here, Fact Fiction, our first one is actually one I think you might like. It's when you force that map 5 doing what you do best, being a crazy main tank. What was going through your head right here in this moment?
Well, Shax called that Adora was beneath us, and so I just called, let's drop and kill him real fast, and then we got 2 insta-picks, like really, really fast, and then it was just like, okay, we can just EMP and close the fight.
Easy money. All right, next up, we got Michelle with the barrage and the big boop here. Michelle had a great game on Fair in that first map on Oasis.
Yeah, I felt like this was going to be a tale of how the game went. Wasn't the case, really. But
Imagine he would have hit that rocket at the end there.
yeah, doing pretty good.
Just to follow it up.
Takes me
We
back to
actually
my
thought,
TF2
because
days.
the camera view on program actually looked like he hit him with the rockets. I was not impressed.
Little
with
sick
it.
fadeaway.
Yeah.
Number 3 is a recurring series we see here, Super Shattering, and then Choyo been throwing in a Diva Bomb and getting some kills.
I absolutely love this as well, because this is just after Fitz had used the EMP and everybody on Shock had to make a big play. So Violet came in with the
Set it
trance
up.
and then an insane shatter into bomb combo. Nobody clutches like the Shock.
All right, next up was Gosby with the dragon that went through the amp matrix. I don't think the amplification matrix actually amped it up, but it was still sick.
Look away, Fact Fiction. Look away.
I already did.
I mean, what you do in a snipe? You just pray. You know?
die.
You die. You get sent
Or
back to the
down.
respawn queue.
Yeah.
And number 1, Fleta with his barrages that pretty much destroyed everybody because he's Fleta, and that's what he does.
Oh,
So,
wow.
just
It's
nasty.
been some time since we got to see that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
Didn't get to see the flatter deadlift today, but I mean, maybe next year.
Maybe
Maybe next.
What, you just writing them out of stage 4?
Yeah, I shouldn't really, but yeah.
Flatter's already gone home. You heard it here
Okay,
first.
there we have it.
The brand news.
Oh, man. All right, it's time for our Twitch cheer leaderboard. Zoe, why don't you go ahead and take it this time?
Oh, thank you, Malik. I thought you'd never ask. Well, Atlantic
gotcha.
Reign,
I
still
gotcha.
up on the top. This is so exciting. I can barely contain myself. Yeah, I don't even know what else to say.
Read out names and numbers,
See it right
really.
there. Pat
All right.
is still on the board. I'm not done, Malik.
My bad.
Can I please have my segment?
Predictions in my ear. They're telling me to move it along.
All right, then. All right.
Oh, man.
I was just about to get it started, but sure.
Individuals.
Rasen, our gardener to be, number 4 now. He
I like
hurt
it.
me yesterday, or she.
Yeah, the Gardener
Yeah.
B, the lawnmower 2048.
Yeah, he's
Lawn-
mowing
Wait, what?
through those
Yeah,
cheerleaders.
German
Rasen is
for
German for
garden.
lawn.
It's good old
You're not listened, yes.
I was
You
listening.
had nothing.
Fact
Black
Picture's
and
just
Deutsch.
sitting here like, you
yeah.
guys, what is
Definitely.
going on? You
Yep,
dweebs.
that's accurate.
Bewildered.
All right, well, guys, while we're on the subject of Twitch, I want to remind everybody to make sure you pick up the Overwatch League All Access Pass on Twitch so you can check out the live Q&A with the caster extraordinaire, Doa. He'll be at the desk answering all your questions right after Watchpoint. But coming up after the break, we'll break down exactly what you should be watching for tomorrow. Don't go anywhere. More Watchpoint coming right back.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.
Oh, it's even between them.
That was a fake.
Mangachu's got a mad health advantage. This is the first time we've seen that.
Right there, and that is game. Mangachu is the toilet lord.
Prostrate at the champion's feet.
Well, that might just be all she wrote, but New York has pulled back quite some bars. Oh my God, what a dart!
Yeah, sick place from Hago. There we go. Sleep dart over the ocean. You're not going to kill him the normal way, so you got to drop him in. Yep. And you don't really need the double sniper after point A anyway. You can still run it, but you don't often do it. Whoa. Yeah. You only need one. You only need one sniper right now, clearly. If you're Atlanta Ray, 3 kills for Baby Bay. All right.
Both going to be going low. Otto uses his own. Stratus is in. He's in. Otto going to be taken down. Puckle moves down. Stratus comes back with a no fist. And he absolutely pops off. Stratus, the madman. They field him on the starting roster. He comes in clutch.
Especially they swapped off the bar. They could go for the Roadhog.
All right, the Supercharger, they're just going in with the Mercy, like the Mercy boost plus the Supercharger. That's a ton of damage, but it doesn't matter if DM finds your head. Luffy down as well. DM finds another one. Eliminates Neptuno as well.
Welcome back to Watchpoint. Coming up tomorrow, it's the Stage 3 semifinals. We did it, ladies and gentlemen. We did it. We've got the Shanghai Dragons facing off against the Vancouver Titans, followed by the San Francisco Shock, trying to keep their Stage 2 title defense alive against our new buddy, Backfiction, in the Los Angeles Valiant. So, Zoe, let's start with you. What should we be looking out for tomorrow?
Everything.
Oh, yeah, everything.
Yeah, of course.
But
everything.
what stands out to you?
All right, Malik.
Come on.
Sorry. I'm super excited to see more from the Shanghai Dragons, specifically their backline. I mean, we know that DM can pop off and Ding as well, but I think the reason why they looked so very dominant in their last match was because Luffy as well as Koma really stepped it up. The team played really well around them. They did a lot of peeling for their supports who barely died. They got so many great angles, and they got a lot of space to do what they do best, which is support their team. So if they can stay hot like that, Shanghai is looking pretty darn strong.
All right. I love it.
Thank
Keep
you.
an eye on that back line.
Yep.
That's something I wasn't paying attention to, so I'm going to take your words.
For me, I know everyone's wondering. Okay.
I am.
Okay.
Is it your bracket?
With
Is
bated
that what
breath,
we're watching
The
out
audience,
for?
We're waiting.
everyone's
Still
holding their
wonder.
breaths. We've actually got about 50,000 people here right now. They're all holding their breaths waiting,
Well,
ready.
get on with it, otherwise he'll die of
Give
asphyxiation.
me a second, okay? I'm trying to hit the...
Oh, my God.
I'm looking forward to the Titans as a team. They've got a new look with them. Stitch is in the lineup. They're playing this new style, but they still have not been tested. Gladiators dropped the ball, and Outlaws weren't really a match for them as well in the playoffs. So this match against the Shanghai Dragons is going to be the first time we get to see them really tested, and it's going to be buzzing.
Are you calling an upset?
My bracket says no, but I do think that this game has potential for an upset. Honestly, I
Okay.
feel like it's not as clear cut as
What's
people
the
might think it
percentage?
is.
Yeah.
Percentage. If I was to give you a percentage, I give you about 1/5.
That's not a percentage.
It can be a percentage.
All right.
Definitely a
All right. That was
20%. Okay, there we go.
I'm going to go for the match on the other side.
Can't
of the
do it, can you?
semifinals.
You're terrible
What?
at maths.
I didn't even hear what question you're saying. 'Cause I
1/5
ignore you on the
of
regular.
1/5 of a faction into percentage.
It's 20%.
20%.
Yeah,
We
well
got it.
done.
Mute this
Shake my
moron. Turn his mic off.
Shake my-
Sideshow, it's on
All
you,
right,
bro.
I'm going to talk about the other semifinals match. The Valiant going up against the Shock. I want to see if Shax on Sombra can steal the California Cup away from the current holders, the San Francisco Shock. Because this entire season, it would have been a joke. This match would have been a joke. You would have just put all your money on the Shock. You wouldn't have put a fifth on anything. I don't know what you're talking about. But now I really think it comes down to how well they deal with Shocks on the Sombra. And this is going to just be an insane semifinal game.
I am looking forward to that one. No bad matches this entire
No.
stage playoff. This has been awesome.
Wow.
Guys, high five. High five. So, guys,
You're
we're
not
going to
gonna-
get on out of
I'm
here.
sorry. Absolutely nothing.
Oh, sorry. No class. No
Well, I'm not
class.
buying. I was
Okay,
okay. I'm
no,
sorry.
there we go. I like it. I like seeing the synergy.
Get away.
Thanks again to Fact Fiction for joining us on the show today, and we'll be back tomorrow for the pre-show at 6:30 Pacific. That's right. We're going to be later on Saturday. We got that primetime slot. We're coming for all your TV sets and all that stuff, so stay tuned. But guys, in the meantime, have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow. Bit, you know, at the top of the playoffs, the Stage 3 playoffs, it was going to be very entertaining. And here, taking a look at the bracket tomorrow,